Just shake their heads.
Yeah, welcome to the Paranormal Peeps podcast. We're talking about the show Ghosts right now. It's on ABC. I think it's ABC, isn't it? Sounds right.
Mm-hmm.
But or CBS or one of those. Might be CBS. Either way, it is hilarious. And I was just telling them the ghosts in our house think it's hilarious too. And they say it's about right.
If you haven't watched it, go watch it. It's hilarious. As a ghost investigator, you will fully appreciate it.
And then you'll have new fun with the term sucked off.
Did you?
Josh said it earlier.
It's not what you think.
No,
At all. It's not what you think at all.
So,
you have to watch.
Yes.
But at any rate, thanks for tuning in. It's lovely to have you back listening to us again. We appreciate you coming back and keep coming back. And we appreciate you telling your friends. We get more and more listeners. We get more and more followers on the Instagram. And yeah, we have fun doing it too. So welcome. So run around the table here. Let's go. To my left, we have the lovely Not Elisa tonight.
We miss you, Elisa.
Boo,
Yeah.
we wish you were here.
She had some homeowner issues.
So we put a backpack as her stand-in.
My backpack's standing over there.
Adulting
instead.
sucks sometimes.
Adulting does
It
suck.
does.
But it is what it is. It's part of owning a home. So, anyway. And then to the not Elisa's chair left is the masterful Lord
Josh.
And to his left, the lovely lady.
Jamie?
That's right, kids. They're official. Lord and lady.
And now there's only one at the table who's not.
Well, by marriage, she is.
Yeah, that's true.
It's true.
Yeah, well.
She's married to a lord, so
well-
she's a lady.
Well, yeah, Lisa's not, though. So,
Well, yeah, but Lisa's
She's not at the
not
here.
here.
table.
because she felt intimidated.
I chose not to become a lady.
Okay. Well.
I don't know if I could be if I wanted to be. No, just kidding.
She's
I can't be dignified like that. I'm sorry.
Next coming around to Jamie's left is the lovely
It's Terry.
Lady Terry. She's lady by marriage.
Yes.
She's married to me, Lord Mike. That's right. We've just been comparing plots of land, and we're all Scottish landowners. So to our one Scottish listener, hey neighbor,
Howdy.
you own more land there than we do.
Can I borrow a cup of sugar?
Combined, we've got 7 square feet. It's impressive, you guys.
That's awesome.
That's enough to put a chair
Hey,
and like a TV tray.
that's all you got to own to become a lord and a lady.
That's
That's
right.
right.
Anyway, yeah. So it is Christmas time,
Yay.
or Kwanzaa time, or Festivus for the rest
Saint
of
Nicholas.
us, or
Hanukkah.
Hanukkah,
Hanukkah.
Kwanzaa. I don't know. There's lots of them.
There's lots of them.
It's all the
It's the winter
holidays.
solstice
Almost.
or something. But either way, whatever it is to you, happy.
Happy everything.
Happy, merry.
Happy, merry, and lots of smiles. But for us here, we're doing that kind of the Christmas thing here. And I just have to tell you, this is going to be our last episode of this year of 2021.
Of our recording ones.
Of our recording ones, yeah.
Yeah.
So Josh and Jamie, well, I'm going to give it to Jamie because she's kind of the homemaker. She fed us like you would not believe.
I have a food baby right now.
It's a feast.
Oh my gosh, I've been in a coma since before we came downstairs to start recording, and I might just kind of sit back and just eat more food. So if I go quiet, you know where I went.
I've consumed all of my sugar for the month of December.
In one sitting, right? Oh,
And
yeah.
it's
But-
only December
Fourth.
4th.
Now, you said you're going to post pictures of that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Terry and I both will.
We will get pictures
Yeah.
posted.
Absolutely.
You thought the Halloween food was cool. Just wait.
But did you take pictures of all the stuff upstairs too?
No, I
No,
didn't
Dinner?
I
either.
didn't get that.
So you're just only going to get to see pictures of like the snacks, but yeah, was that brisket?
London broil.
London broil.
London broil,
Marinated for 24 hours.
potatoes with
So
bacon in
good.
it.
Bacon, sour cream,
And-
and butter.
Oh my gosh!
And your
it was-
stuffing.
The stuffing was
Apple sausage
awesome.
stuffing.
I
Yeah.
didn't get stuffing for Thanksgiving, so that totally made up for it.
Oh, good.
So good.
It filled that void.
And then the rolls. That's the whole reason why I came. I wasn't going to come today. I was just like, forget it. But then they're like rolls, and I'm like, I'm
Fresh
there.
baked rolls. Yeah.
No, I was going to come. Unless they didn't want me to come. As you can tell, I got a little bit of a cold.
You're fine.
Maybe it's leprosy.
Your
Could
nose
be.
is
Polio.
We'll
full.
find out.
Polio. TB.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's,
Herpes.
But we know it's not corona.
We know that, right?
It's herpes. Yeah, I have herpes inside my sinus. So
He caught it while in Las Vegas.
yeah, what happens in Vegas?
Aw.
Does not
Gets-
stay in
I
Vegas.
know. What happens
Apparently
in
not.
Las Vegas, it gets tested where I work. No, I'm just kidding.
That's actually
No, I'm just
that's
kidding.
actually a fact.
Not where not in the lab I work in,
Not
but
by you particularly, but you,
yes,
yeah, you still see them.
my
In the
location
same-
of work.
Yes.
You know what's funny? And maybe this is not appropriate, but maybe it is. I don't know. But it's just funny though. So all the STD things that where do you get most STD samples from?
Not always, but the old folks' home.
Old folks' homes.
Hey,
Those
Seriously?
places are a haven for STDs.
Hey, you know
Wow.
what? If you can still do it at that age, go for it.
Yeah.
Thanks,
Good
Pfizer.
for you.
Isn't that Pfizer came up with Viagra?
I think so.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Good for you folks.
Right.
If we have anybody listening that lives in an old folks home, message us. Tell us.
Oh my gosh. I'm getting so much trouble.
We're going to get in trouble. By who? Whatever. Let's have fun. We're here
I
to have
have
fun.
so many coworkers that listen to this podcast. This is not a good thing.
Maybe it is, though. They'll laugh their butts off and go, it's so true. But anyway. Well, we're here to talk about lots of fun stuff. We're going to talk about Christmas stuff. Christmas stories, Christmas ghost stuff. First of all, before we do that, though, raise your hand if you're at home and you've seen the movie Ghostbusters Afterlife. I'm raising my hand. Nobody else here
That
at
is
the table has
such
seen
good
it.
Podcasting.
You said at home.
Well,
But
okay.
technically, we're the only ones at
We're
home.
not home.
Okay.
All right, well, then
we've
I'm-
seen it.
Whatever. I raised my hand anyway. So if you don't want to hear any spoilers about it, then
Don't
just,
listen.
Just cover your ears. Give us
Fast
30
forward
seconds.
a couple seconds.
Yeah,
30,
fast forward.
30 seconds.
That's
we're
it?
Okay.
We're going to be talking about this longer than 30 seconds.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know we will talk
Okay.
about
Oh,
it in
yeah.
30 seconds.
Go ahead 3 minutes, and if we're still talking, then go ahead a little bit more. But no, such a good movie.
Amazing.
Especially for like paranormal investigators. I think we typically have a soft spot. And if you haven't noticed, well, maybe you haven't because you don't get to see. So Josh and Jamie have the Ghostbuster house. I think you guys posted pictures of the dogs, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
the terror
Yeah.
dogs.
For
They
Halloween,
got
We
the
yeah.
posted
terror
the video
dogs.
of the terror dogs.
Um,
and
Yeah.
You know, Rick Moranis has an apartment upstairs. It
Yeah.
would be funny if he
It would be
did.
great, wouldn't it?
That'd be awesome.
Actually, so true story. My dentist,
Our
yes.
dentist.
or our dentist, I should
Yeah.
say, looks like Rick Moranis and kind of sounds like Rick Moranis.
A taller, a little bit heavier version, but
Really?
Oh yeah,
yeah, they could be
That's cool.
brothers.
That's hilarious.
yeah. It was awesome. And
The only thing I don't think you guys have that is going to have to be a must is the book Tobin's Spirit Guide.
No, we don't.
No.
That's the book that they use. That's like when they fight about Gozer and stuff.
yeah,
And you can buy it. I don't know if it's any good, but
Oh, I
it's a
did
good
not
read
know
or not.
that.
But
will be useful.
yeah, we need to get that. Otherwise, like there are Funko Pops and there are just decorations all over the place
Ghostbusters.
because these guys are.
Ecto 1 is
Ghostbusters.
over
We have
there.
Ecto
Oh,
One over.
the-
Yeah.
Popcorn bucket that they just released on AMC, online only, sold out in just a few hours.
Yeah, it sold out so
There's
fast.
a ghost trap to my left over here.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yep.
We have another ghost trap coming that's an incense burner.
oh nice.
Yeah, so when you close the doors and the smoke
It'll
comes
start
out
coming
of
out. Oh,
it.
that's so cool.
That's so cool.
That'll be here on the 9th.
All right, so what are your thoughts of the movie? What did you like?
All of it.
Is there anything in particular that you liked or didn't like?
So there's one thing. So I loved the whole movie. I loved. There's only one part of the movie that I stopped and looked at and went, "What the heck did
Oh.
they do?"
Yeah.
And so yeah, this is definitely a big spoiler for all of you people who have not seen it yet. But it has been off for a little while, so by the time this airs, it'll be off. For
If
a
you
month.
haven't seen it yet, that's your fault.
But so when they go into the pit, there's that coffin or sarcophagus of the guy who built all of that stuff,
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
and then he starts to move,
Right.
and then it's like gone.
Right.
I'm like, what is the point
Yeah.
of
That was
any of that.
that was a little confusing.
It was a little
Yeah.
confusing,
Right.
yeah.
It was
So-
a little confusing.
My theory is that there's a whole scene or multiple scenes that are sitting on the floor somewhere.
Oh, absolutely.
That need to come. Like we need the
Oh,
director's
you'll
cut.
get the director's cut
Like
down the road.
the
yeah.
outtakes
Yeah.
or something, huh?
Yeah, we need the director's cut of that.
Yeah.
So, but no, I absolutely.
Because
Love the movie.
that whole thing in that cave in the mines or whatever,
Mhm.
how has it been there that long and like nobody knows that it's there?
Well, I think they touched a little bit on this, saying that the mines were closed and like no one ever really went in there.
Mm-hmm.
So,
But Spangler knew
Except for
about
high
it.
school
but
kids.
Spangler knew about
Spangler
it.
knew he was the one that was
Yeah.
causing all the earthquakes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Trying to keep it at bay.
keeping it, yeah.
Yeah.
So some things I don't. Was there something, Jamie, that you liked? I'll let you guys all go first.
Oh, I
Things
absolutely.
you liked, things you didn't.
So the first part of the movie, when they're kind of setting everything up, it's a little slow,
Oh yeah.
Yep.
but it's all relevant and it's all still good.
Mhm.
But it's not as exciting. But I really loved the little mini Stay Puffs and the Terror Dogs.
Oh my gosh, that Walmart scene was not long enough.
No,
It needed to be so much.
it should have been
longer.
at least twice as long. It was just that cute and that
Mhm.
good. It was hilarious.
Yeah.
So one of my coworkers, her big negative for the whole movie was Walmart.
Are
Really?
you kidding me?
No, not the scene,
Oh,
not the
Oh,
the
she's
Stay Puft.
anti-Walmart?
It's
It was just that Walmart was featured in it.
right. Yeah. So like you
Gotcha.
have this tiny little podunk town, right, where you got this old mom and pop diner, and you have this like the main street's all dilapidated and kind of run
And has
down.
like one stoplight.
yeah,
a
and
small
then
theater.
and then you have this pristine, gorgeous, brand new Walmart.
it's because Walmart's everywhere.
I didn't even
That
think
is
about that.
I didn't think about it.
Because
That's a good
the
point.
college
Yeah.
town I grew up didn't have a Walmart for the longest
Right.
time. The longest
Right.
time.
And so it's like, okay, yeah. So I could see the like, it doesn't quite fit. Like,
yeah, but it is modern day.
it is, but still, like you go to
Maybe
some
it
of
would
these.
just barely got built and it's brand new to
Yeah.
town.
Yeah.
I mean, like
I don't know.
it's such that stretch. But so like if you would have made it, her argument was like if you made it anything else, right? Like a small convenience store, like not convenience store, but like mom and pop, whatever.
Mhm.
It would have made more relevant sense to the setting, and wouldn't have been the big conglomerate.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Walmart
because they
push.
made such a big deal that this old mom and pop's, burger joint where they come out on roller skates to take your order still exists in this
Right.
town.
Right. And yet there's this brand new gorgeous Walmart.
Right.
And you're like,
But
wait,
here's the thing. You're so entertained by what's going on inside of that store, whether it be a Walmart or not, that how many people truly thought about this other than, very few, I'm
Yeah.
going to guess.
Yeah.
probably
Yeah.
not until they actually hear this part.
Yeah, now they're like,
Well,
dang
exactly.
It.
That's the point, though.
Yeah.
See, but
Uh-huh.
when I watched it personally, I didn't think of that. I was
No.
just enjoying what I was seeing up on that
But
screen.
see, like the dog chasing. I mean, but the thing is, we've all been to Walmart, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you haven't been to Walmart, you should go check it out. If you're in Scotland, it's the sister company Asda. So
Oh,
anyway,
interesting.
yeah. But at any rate, I mean, you can relate to it. Running around Walmart being chased by a big demon dog. I mean, it wouldn't be the same
I
if you
loved
were
it
at
was
like
eating
a
the
little.
dog food.
If you were like at a little,
Right. How would that even
convenience
work
store.
if you're in a tiny little place?
There's like 3 aisles and a beer fridge in the back.
Because that'd be a big dog, man.
It'd be a
Yeah.
big dome. Big
but
dome.
but yeah. So anyway,
What about you,
that's
Terry?
a great point.
I liked all of it. It was a good movie. I liked Podcast. I thought that was hilarious.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, he was
The
good.
kid named Podcast. I also liked every scene with Paul Rudd. He was not an appropriate
He's-
teacher.
No.
but hilarious.
Sexiest man alive.
he was the teacher that just like
It's a great movie called Cujo about a dog.
I'll be in my office.
I'll be in my office.
I'm just yeah. Such a teacher that just totally started throwing it in from the start of
From
summer
the start
school.
of it. From the start of it. It was hilarious.
And this is why I'm not a teacher.
Well, even then, like taking the 2 school buses out there, hooking all the wires up so we could fire up the ghost trap, just open it up. And release
Oh yeah.
it.
Oh,
So
yeah.
That was one thing that did irritate me. Okay, so like whenever you have an interaction with ghosts and anything moves and everything, you're like, oh my gosh. There was no reaction to anything, like the chess piece moving, the lamp like moving and shining on the pictures for her to see her.
Mhm.
Like there was no reaction to like these things randomly being moved by a ghost.
Yeah, she was
Well,
pretty even keeled
it was
about it all.
especially when she started off as atheist, or she's like, I don't even
No,
believe
she
in
didn't
ghosts,
believe in ghosts. The little girl didn't even believe in ghosts, and all of a sudden she's playing chess with her grandpa
and not even thinking
Yeah.
about it.
Yeah.
and not even phasing her.
Yeah.
So that was kind of
weird.
weird that there was no reaction to like things moving. It's like,
Yeah.
but yeah.
But the things I did like, besides Paul Rudd, because, I just like Paul Rudd. Who doesn't? He's sexiest man alive. I really liked how they got the old cast back together, how they got the original
Yes.
Ghostbusters in. I liked when she calls Dan Aykroyd to, race dance, and he's still in his shop,
His bookstore.
his
Yeah.
bookstore,
Yeah.
and all the salt lamps around, and it's just like, hey, that's the store I want to go hang out in. But anyway, when they all get there at the end, and they're just all the old Ghostbusters, and then here's the spoiler. So skip ahead 30 seconds. This is the big spoiler anyway.
Yeah.
So if you haven't seen it, Egon's back, and he's dead. He's the ghost, obviously. It's his granddaughter that he's connected with. But it's cool because they're shooting the guns, and he puts his hands on. It's like the whole movie from the scene from Ghost when they're making the pottery. But he's helping her hold the stream
That one's
across the stream. So
that one's a tearjerker.
that
for
was kind of
sure.
cool, and
was awesome.
they all kind of look over and see. And that was another thing is they all see him, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's not really realistic here.
No.
Unless they're all like super mediums and stuff, and just which they're not, because they weren't to begin with in the first ones.
Yeah.
But yeah,
It's
I
really
thought
touching.
it was funny that everybody can see the ghosts, like the one that eats the metal, and I mean just
The Muncher.
Oh, metal
everybody,
muncher.
everybody
Muncher.
can see the ghosts, and it's like that's
yeah.
I don't know. It's fun, but in reality, I don't see the ghosts.
So, do you think they're going to make another one?
They left it open,
I sure
didn't
hope
they?
they
so
They
left it
totally
open.
left it open for another one.
Yeah.
That was
a great scene, seeing Ecto-1 driving back into New York.
Yes, it
That was iconic.
But
Yeah.
the part I think the part that I liked the most at the end is if you wait till after the credits, and then you've got
The first scene or the second one? Because there's two after the credits.
it's the one where he was guessing the cards.
Okay, because that was the one thing.
Yes.
Is like it's going through the cast and it shows Sigourney Weaver. You're like, wait, I never saw good Sigourney Weaver in the movie, and then it cuts to the scene and you see Sigourney Weaver. You're like,
Yeah,
right.
I think the only one missing was Rick Moranis.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he was
But-
not in
He
it.
doesn't act anymore.
Right. He left it a long time ago.
He left it to be
long
a
time ago
stay-at-home
dad,
dad,
take
which
care of
is
his kids.
cool.
Yeah. Yeah. It's awesome. But I really thought like when Winston drove the Ecto-1 back into the old station.
Uh-huh.
So that was another. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I was hoping that the driver behind the wheel would have been Rick Moranis.
Oh, that
I
would've
was
been
like
cool.
hoping,
That
but
would've been
it
cool.
unfortunately was not.
So that was the big question that I came away with was what empire does Winston own? And it's like he's funded things, right?
Hmm.
What? They didn't answer anything there. It's like all of a sudden Winston's there and just like, oh, he's been paying for things.
Well, and hopefully maybe if they
And-
do another one, they'll kind of cover that a
Right.
little
They
bit.
said he's an investment banker or something like that.
I don't remember.
He's
the
I don't
saying.
remember.
Well, because they had a scene that I think was cut from the original with the coin.
Yeah, that was
When
one of
Annie
the
Potts
second
giving him
scene.
the coin.
Oh, right.
Right.
Which they implied was from the very first original movie.
Right.
Which I don't remember, but
I don't think it made it in the movie.
Yeah, I think that's a cut scene from
Yeah.
the first movie.
Yeah.
So,
but yeah, I came away kind of questions like, well, wait, I'm confused. What is that?
I don't know.
What does he do, and how has he been? I mean, because wasn't he funding the farmer? Wasn't he like funding all of Egon's stuff?
Yeah,
Was he funding Egon stuff,
Yeah,
or
he
was
was
he?
funding all of it.
he was
'cause-
funding all of it.
But he was funding Ray's.
Yeah, he was
bookshop.
He was paying
Yeah.
for
he
everything.
was paying for
He's paying for
everybody's.
everything.
Really?
Yeah, he was
Because-
paying for everybody.
Because remember so they talked to the secretary gal. Remember she came in at the end,
Mhm.
near the end, and
Janine.
and she was talking to Winston about
Mm-hmm.
all of the money and stuff like
And it's
that.
as if she
Gotcha.
worked for him
It's as
all
if
along
she's
as well.
been an employee
Yeah.
of his. Yeah.
So many open-ended questions there.
Yeah.
I was like,
Yeah,
Okay. So,
Okay.
but here's my thing. How cool is it that history is now learning about the original Ghostbusters from the 1980s?
Right?
well, if
Yeah.
they haven't already seen it, I mean, come on.
What are
Just
you
'cause
waiting
it's from
for?
the 80s, it doesn't mean
Yeah.
it's bad.
No.
The thing is like we read a review before we went and watched the movie, and that whoever reviewed it just absolutely thrashed the movie.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like,
And then a lot of the critics aren't liking it.
yeah, they're like, it's not funny. It's just a remake of the original. It's
Yeah.
like, it's not a remake. It's a continuation.
It is a continuation.
Of the Gozer story.
But the thing is every little thing from that original movie, they just took it and put it in this one. Like, was there really a need to have the mini marshmallow guys?
Absolutely.
No.
They didn't make
No,
it. They didn't
there
make
was
any
no
sense.
There was no
There was
need.
no
No.
sense to it. The only reason why the Marshmallow Man was in the original movie was because that's what he thought of.
Right.
Yes.
And now they just randomly showed up in this one for no reason at all.
Right.
Yeah.
Although,
But I still love
I
it.
can see
It was entertaining for
you know,
sure.
Yeah.
But it
although
was-
I did like the part where like, are you a god?
I know, right?
And
Yeah.
he has to think about it, and they're like, really, Ray? Really?
Yeah. Well, and then when the whatever the capture, what is that called?
Ghost Trap.
The
Ghost
ghost trap. He's like, oh, this is a really cool replica. Oh no, this isn't a replica. yeah. I want that in my history books in my history class. I would have gone to class.
You know, something
Right.
else.
Oh, I would have too.
You know, something else that's cool though, or that they could have done better is there wasn't the scares.
No,
You know, it
like
wasn't
the
scary.
librarian scene,
like the librarian,
Right.
or
There was
Yes.
nothing like that in this.
or
one.
the if you go to the second one, you know, the O'Leary brothers.
Oh, yeah.
You know, the guys that got electrocuted were
They were in
you know,
electric
tormenting
chairs.
the
Yeah.
judge, and
Yeah, there wasn't
it didn't
any of
seem
that.
like it was anything
Um,
horrifying.
But I don't know if any of that would have actually enhanced the movie at all.
No, but you know one thing I would have liked to have seen? You know, like in the second movie when like all the ghosts come out and they like show like the dead taxi driver and they have like
Yeah.
the people coming off the Titanic and
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
I
all the
would have liked to
ghosts.
seen it when in this movie when everything escaped and
Yeah, where did they go? What
Escape.
did they do?
you
Yeah.
you didn't really see a whole lot of
The
that.
thing is there wasn't a lot escaping though. Was there?
Yeah. Well,
Yeah,
because
there were those little
Paul
light things
Rudd's,
over,
remember, he was pulling
Yeah,
the
he moved it. So yeah, there was okay.
and so a
you
bunch
had
of
the
them
one
got
guy
out.
drinking coffee in the coffee shop.
Right, but I wanted to see like
more
more.
of that.
Well, I guess
Makes
the good
sense.
question is where'd they all go?
That's
White
a good
House.
question
and,
too.
And maybe that's part of the
CNN.
left opening for the
Mhm.
The
the
second
next
thing.
movie.
Yeah.
Because it shows you back into the original firehouse and the red lights blinking.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
the storage,
That totally leaves it
the
up.
storage.
Yep.
Mhm.
All right, so that's enough about Ghostbusters.
If you haven't seen it, go see it.
Go see it now.
Absolutely.
Go see it.
And if you haven't seen it, if you only seen it once, go,
Go
watch it again.
again.
If you need us to, we'll go with you. I'll go with
Absolutely.
you anyway.
We
I wanna
got
go-
our tickets to go Monday.
Yeah,
I
we're
want to
going
go
again.
again.
I'm gonna go get. I just need a big Coke and some popcorn.
There you go.
I'm good.
That's what we did. We
And-
went online. We already paid for our popcorn and drinks, and
Yeah, all of it.
Mhm.
we just gotta go get it.
So you go to So for those of you in Utah, if you go to Megaplex, you can get your tickets and all of your snacks, and you can pay for it up front, and you don't have to worry about
Do you
it.
get luxury
It's
seats?
so nice.
Yes,
That's the only way to watch it.
It's the only way to go.
right.
There
Yeah.
are still non-luxury theaters out there.
There are like the Megaplex that we go to doesn't have all luxury seats,
Yeah.
but we do. But we only get the luxury seats because they're more comfortable. Like
Mhm.
you
Only
can
ones
sit
that
in,
fit.
sit
Well,
Sit
you're
in
not
a recliner.
crowded either.
Sit in a recliner. It's
Yeah,
so
you
much
have
more
room.
comfortable.
I think I tried sitting in one of those old seats once recently, and it was like sitting on a one cheek thing, and I had like the left cheek up on the armrest. And it was
I sat
just
in one of those see
yeah.
free guy. When I saw free guy.
terrible.
Uncomfortable.
Terrible.
Once you do luxury and you try to
You
go back
can't
to
go
those normal
back.
seats,
No.
it's tough.
Okay. Well, we've gone on for at least we filled some time here
Yes, we did.
That's okay.
because you know
It was fun.
the Christmas topic. It could actually be a pretty quick episode.
Pretty quick or pretty long, depending on how many ghost stories you tell.
Depends on how much you want to beat the dead horse.
Jamie the robot.
That's a different one.
Okay, so we're going to talk about some Christmassy, ghosty, winter solstice-y. I don't have any Kwanzaa stories, but I'm sure there are plenty.
I'm sure.
Dead people that celebrated Kwanzaa. I don't know, but let's talk about it. Josh, what have you got? In no particular order or random. I mean,
Just spit it out.
just spit it out. I just feel like I'm talking a lot.
It's because you are.
No, it's not.
I am.
Well, actually, I think the part that really kind of got us all started was the line from the Christmas story or Christmas Carol, right? Which is scary ghost stories. And
Yeah. The Andy Williams song. It's the most wonderful time of the year.
So, and a lot of us look at that and go, "What the heck?" Like, I mean, we've all listened to it and heard it, and most of us don't even give two thoughts to it, right? It's like, Ghost stories. Who tells ghost stories at Christmas?
Charles Dickens.
Well, apparently
Right?
everybody wants to.
Which is like the most famous ghost story of them all, I would have to say.
Yeah.
You know, and most of us don't even look at it as a ghost story.
But it is.
It is.
Yeah, it's just a cool movie with Jim Carrey or George C. Scott or
Or the Muppets.
the Muppets. I was going to say, or Kermit the Frog.
Or Scrooge McDuck.
Yes.
There's so many versions.
Yeah. Bill Murray, too.
Scrooged.
that's
Scrooged
right,
is my
that's
favorite
right.
I
version.
know.
Yeah.
I love it.
He doesn't like it.
I don't like that one.
Elisa's never seen it.
It's my favorite.
It's my favorite too.
Oh my gosh, I
Yeah.
want Elisa, come watch it at my house.
I'll be honest, I like the George C. Scott version. It's like the late 70s-ish.
The hardest one to watch.
He's the guy who played Patton.
But trying to think of that one. I'm sure I've seen it.
But at any rate,
But at any rate,
I digress.
a lot. So that, I mean, really that comes around from just the pagan era, actually. What do you got on that, Jamie?
I don't think I have anything on, do I?
Yeah, you do.
I was just
I
It's
think,
like, yes,
okay,
you do.
so Halloween is based off of a lot of pagan stuff, and now Christmas
Yes.
is going to be based off of a lot of pagan stuff.
yes,
It's just, I mean, because
and that's as much as I know.
the world is dying.
Yeah.
That's why we celebrate Christmas.
Because the world is dying.
Well, that's
But
where
it
that's
is.
where the ghosts come
It
from.
is.
It really
Yeah.
is.
That's what it's about.
Yeah, it's just a belief. It all revolves around really the winter solstice, right? Because at that point in time, it's the time of the year that has the longest night,
Yep.
Yep.
and there's a belief that it's also a time when the veil is the thinnest.
Mhm. And that's why they light their Yule log, and they have to keep it lit all night long for protection for anything
Mhm.
coming into their house, because it's the longest night of the year.
Yeah, and they don't want to get eaten alive, right?
Nope.
But everything dies in the wintertime. I mean, all your crops die.
Yeah,
You have a lovely lawn. You don't live in Las Vegas. You have a lawn, and the lawn dies.
Well, everything in Las Vegas is all AstroTurf, anyways. It's not
That's
real.
true.
Vegas.
Yeah.
it's not real
It's
long.
not
So it
real lawn,
doesn't die.
anyways. At this point.
But here in Utah, yeah, the lawn dies. But the crops die. I mean, more people die in the wintertime.
Yep.
Yeah,
It's just like the 3 a.m., when it's the darkest and the
Depression
coldest.
and
Yeah, more people go through depression.
but
Not just because they didn't get what they wanted.
but people would sit around and tell ghost stories
Yes.
Yeah.
during the time of year.
We don't do that enough anymore.
We don't. We barely do it.
Well, we
it's
do.
now like camp time, right? Like,
Yeah.
we need to instigate like a monthly
We should do it.
ghost stories at our fire pit in our backyard.
We should do it. We'll invite all the
Yeah.
listeners. We should do it.
we should
That would
We'll
be
invite
fun.
the listeners. It'll be our Christmas ghost stories
every month
every month.
That'd
At
be
the
kinda
fire pit.
awesome.
at the fire pit.
At our fire pit.
I'll wear my Santa suit because it's Christmas ghost stories.
Ooh, you're gonna be overheated.
Yeah. Anyway, sorry.
But yeah, I mean, and everyone's got ghost stories, right? I remember there was a time when I was sitting in Fort Chaffee, Arkansas. I was there for about a month with the military, and a handful of us were sitting around on several nights, and we were just telling, ghost stories. Some of them, most of them true, right? With things that happen to people and stuff like that. But it's like, it's kind of this, we just don't do it enough anymore. We're too busy, looking at our screens and
Yeah.
watching TV and stuff.
Shopping on Amazon.
Yeah.
I'm dating Amazon. Apparently,
Comes to our house every day.
new relationship.
Interestingly enough, there was a podcast that I had listened to actually earlier today where they had this guy is British and he talked about he blamed the BBC honestly because he's from Britain, but he said the onset of television basically wiped out the tradition of ghost stories at Christmas because you don't sit around and talk to each other anymore.
No.
You all just sit down and
Watch TV.
the claymation Rudolph. And
Well, and the further
the
we
Santa
get with
Claus
social
and-
media, the worse it gets.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
a
'cause
lot
we
of the
don't talk
teenagers
any-
these days have no social communication skills whatsoever.
yeah, but ghost stories don't scare them either.
No,
Have you noticed that?
now they don't. or they're sitting next to their best friend and they're texting each other versus talking
Yeah.
to each other.
Oh my goodness.
And then they don't see the ghosts. They don't see the stuff move.
You
They don't see stuff levitating in front of them.
you can't because you're in front of your screen. Yeah, no, that's I can see that. I can see TV and movies being the detriment to those pieces. Just because, I mean, if you're watching the TV, it's less likely that you're going to be talking in that avenue, right? It's just like TV killed radio, for the most part.
Like video killed the radio star.
Exactly.
Great song.
I got a face for radio.
I don't even have that. But was there more to your Fort Chaffee story?
No, that was it.
Okay. Because I'm sure you have tons of stories being in the military.
That's the funny thing. No ghost stories for the military. I got tons of stories,
Oh, okay.
but none that would fit this podcast.
Okay. Well, then maybe another time.
Yes.
But so I think, and then one of the things that Charles Dickens did is it actually started the ghost story thing. Well, let's go back further. Let's go back before we get to Charles Dickens. And if I'm just jumping on your toes, you tell me. Okay. So it goes back to, like we said, everything was dark. And when it's dark, you can't really go out and do stuff.
No.
It's not like they had, electricity back in the old Druid days. I mean, it's dark. You come inside. You have fire. You have a small torch that could probably light a little bit, or candles. But you don't have, like, big floodlights and stuff. So you come close together for warmth, for safety, and you look to the light. And then that's one of the things about Christmas lights is that this same podcast was telling me was part of the reason why we do all the Christmas lights is because we're drawn to light. As ghost investigators, we sit in the dark, and we don't mind sitting in the dark, but we are drawn to light. We always have that safety flashlight there with us anytime we want it.
Yep.
Yeah. Because that light means safety. That light means security. And so, so we put lights on our trees and we put lights on.
Until you turn the light on and the thing doesn't go away.
Yeah, right?
and then you poo.
And then you poop yourself. Yeah. But it was a tradition. And so because it was a scary time and you may not make it through the winter. You're there, you're gathered with your neighbors, and you may not make it through the winter. They might not live through the night. Life was hard. So what you do is you embrace it. You talk about the things that scare you, and then when you wake up the next morning, you're like, woo, I made it.
I'm alive.
It's kind of like that roller coaster, that adrenaline thing of like, holy cow, that was scary. Or like when you go to a spook alley, like I got past the chainsaw guy. I don't know. But anyway, so it was a tradition going on from way back in the pagan times all the way through time up until until the onset of TV, like we said. But it even took a dive before that. Charles Dickens tried to make a big comeback of it, and so that's why he wrote his story, The Christmas Carol. And it actually had a different name as well. It was a Christmas Carol. It was a ghost. It has the word ghost in it somewhere. I had that on the tip of my tongue, and I just totally spaced it out. Josh is looking on his notes, but while he's looking for that, if you go back to the episode we did about Frankenstein, Mary Shelley, when she wrote Frankenstein, it was dark, and so they were all together, and they told ghost stories. That's just a kind of way to keep themselves entertained. So,
I don't have it.
I think we need to bring it back.
I agree.
Like, it more so than anything, it's about being together, right?
Well, it is.
And so maybe it doesn't have to be ghost stories if that's not your flavor, right? But even just getting together and just talking and reminiscing and telling stories of our loved ones that have since passed or have long since passed, right? And we've got tons of stories about our relatives that are no longer here.
Like my dad dressing up like Santa Claus, but he couldn't get the wig on straight, and so it was like sideways. See, it's kind of a ghost story because he's dead now, but
right.
But yeah, anyway. So yeah, I think we should do it. So I encourage you to do it.
Absolutely.
Do it.
Do it now.
But we do have lots of other. Oh, Terry found it. It was A Christmas Carol in prose being a ghost story of Christmas. There you go.
Right
A
on.
ghost story of
In
Christmas.
prose.
Ooh.
Which honestly, I don't even know what that means.
What does that
Words.
mean?
Words.
Oh.
Yeah, those scare me.
Yeah.
I'm afraid of worms, Roxanne. Worms.
Prose hard.
Words are hard. But there are some creatures though. So there's the ghost stories, and then so that's what the song's talking about. But there are some creatures though that are pretty famous. Do you want to go into those, or do you have more about the ghost stories?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. So what are some of the famous creatures you hear about?
Krampus.
Krampus. We just ordered it. Amazon delivered it today.
Today.
Never seen it.
It's terrible. It's a horrible movie.
It's so bad. It's good.
Oh,
Come
I gotta
on.
watch it.
Come
I think we
on.
should bring it over.
It's one of our
Absolutely. We
daughters.
should
For
do
some
movie
reason,
night.
it's one of our daughter's favorite. She was
Is it
so
really?
she was so
Really?
excited. to
And the thing of it is,
Like-
it is a horrifying movie.
Well, see, and Krampus wasn't really popular here in America, and really until that movie came out, and then it just steamrolled from there.
Yeah.
Well, and I can't imagine it would be. It's Germanic in nature, right? Krampus being a German word, so Krampen, which means claw. The claw, right? But then you have
Liar, liar.
you have Krampuslauf, which is
Krampuslauf?
it's an annual festivity that they have
Oh.
in Germany. It's called the Krampus Run.
Okay.
So,
Interesting.
like, they celebrate it. Supposedly, I guess. If you're in Germany and you actually celebrate it, let us know. Like, how do you celebrate? Or
Once again, I should have talked to my brother, and I did not.
Oh, yeah.
because he's in Germany.
He's not in there. He's not there now, but he lived there for
Right.
4 years.
Oh wow.
It's the one day a year, which is what, December 4th, I
December
believe?
4th is Krampus.
It's Krampus Day.
Krampus Day, Krampus Night. Right now,
Which is
the
today.
day we're recording is
It is
Krampus
today.
Night. In fact, there's a local haunted house here in Utah called Castle of Chaos that is open tonight, and they're doing a Krampus theme there at their haunted house tonight.
And there's another one too, called Dead City.
Dead City.
That's right, Dead
Yeah,
City.
we could
Krampus
see the
night.
searchlights
Yeah,
at our
Dead
house
City's
last
right
night.
by us, yeah.
Yeah.
It's right across the street from a graveyard. It's great.
Yeah. That does actually cause problems.
But yeah, because then tomorrow, December 5th, is Saint Nicholas
Day.
Saint Nicholas Day.
So you
So-
have Krampus Day, then St. Nicholas Day.
Yep.
Right. And so with the Krampus Day, with the ways that they celebrate, you get a switch,
Yes.
okay,
Mhm.
and
Hey, if I get a Switch in my stocking this year, I'm a happy girl. Because then I can play games.
not a Nintendo Switch.
Wrong kind
Wrong
of switch.
Wrong kind. We're talking about the kind that leave welts
The one that you spank bottoms with.
Sorry, I had to.
or anything.
Our daughter's been wanting a Switch for 3 years, and I won't buy her
But
one.
apparently they run around whipping each other with these switches.
How festive.
Right?
Right? Nothing says Merry Christmas like a good welt across your butt,
Right.
and then your back, and then your cheek. I think they hit each other. I think they swat you in the legs.
No, and they really do it over there.
They do.
They
No,
absolutely do.
They do.
I know that they've been trying to make some of those runs popular here in America, and I don't know where they happen.
It's like
at.
the running of the bulls in Pamplona, but you just run through the thing and everybody just whips you as you go
Yep.
through.
No thanks.
That's called stupidity.
Or hazing for a fraternity, right?
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. Well, it's like those big fundraiser runs. I paid to go on one of those big runs once, and it's like I paid to do this.
Yep.
Yeah, no
That's what you wanted to do.
stupidity. But that's not my thing. But nonetheless, that's part of it. So let's talk about the Krampus itself. Krampus is a goat, like half man, half goat,
Half goat, half demon.
half. Yeah, okay.
Not
But-
even human.
Well, he does have a foot, like a human foot. He has one hoof and one human foot.
what?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought he just had hooves.
No.
He's got one
Yeah,
foot
one-
and one.
Is that so he can stand on his
So he
actual
can
foot so he could stick his hoof up
It's
your
probably
ass
so he
or
can,
what?
no, I think it's probably the other way. He uses the hoof as a T and then sticks his toe up. He'll put a boot in your ass. It's the American way.
That's right.
Right?
That's the Krampus way, folks.
Rest in peace, Toby Keith.
He's not dead.
Are you sure? We saw him in concert. He looked pretty dead.
He was pretty drunk, but he wasn't
Oh,
dead.
jeez.
He looked like he had a cold and like had been down like a gallon of NyQuil.
Whatever.
Oh, jeez.
It's like, hello. Anyway, there I go, getting off track again. But he has like goat horns, black coarse hair all on his head and his back, long Gene Simmons type tongue. Actually, it's not Gene Simmons type. It's actually forked.
It's forked like a snake.
Kind of like a snake's
Like a
tongue.
snake.
That's pretty.
And what does the Krampus do, Terry?
He kidnaps the children.
Yeah.
Puts them in a sack.
But
The
not
bad children?
just
or
the bad kids.
Okay.
That's
Bad
the joy
ones.
of it.
See, that's why when Santa comes along, or St. Nicholas, and he either leaves the switch or he leaves you candy and treats and goodies. If you get the switch, Krampus gets you.
Yeah.
Ooh.
So this is where I think St. Nicholas gets, and I'm a professional Santa Claus, and so I love all things Santa. But I think he gets the raw side of the story here because it makes him look like he only is good to the good kids. He's only nice to the good kids, and then the rest of them he just kind of forget you. You know, whereas the real Santa Claus is like there are no bad kids, just good kids with.
Well, then why does he have a list and check it twice? There are bad kids.
No, they're naughty.
Naughty
They're
nice.
they just need time out. They're not bad kids. They're just bad students. I don't know.
You're digging a hole deeper over there,
I'm
buddy.
digging a hole. I know.
You're losing this battle, sir. Losing it bad.
I'm going more into the Fred Claus mode where he just starts approving everybody. It's like there's no such thing as a bad kid. Just bad circumstances. Anyway, so yeah, St. Nicholas gives the joy and the presents to the good kids. The bad kids get abducted, and well, they do.
It's almost like the
It's just the
nurse
word.
versus the doctor, where the doctor comes in, make sure you're okay, but then when it's time for the shot, they leave and make the nurse come do it.
Yeah, the nurse that doesn't have as much training.
So you're saying the doctor's Santa Claus and the nurse is the
yeah,
Krampus?
Yes.
the doctor gives you the good news, then the
Our
nurse
pedi-
gives you the enema.
Our pediatrician, all the time, he's like, I'm not going to stay in here because I don't want the kid to think I'm the bad one because I'm not giving him the shot. And then our pediatrician would leave and make the nurse come
Yeah,
do
the
it.
doctor says we can fix this, and then he leaves, and then the nurse gives you a catheter.
Oh.
So
Sorry,
nurse
that's probably
Krampus,
a really bad analogy.
yeah, well, go
I
with
think
it.
it works.
Go with it. But so he takes you down to hell, and Krampus is actually supposedly the son of hell, which ironic that he works with Santa Claus. But Krampus takes you to hell, and then if you're really good, or if you're really bad, then he eats you. If you're like the cream of the crop, yeah, you get eaten.
So essentially, what
You
this
get turned into cream and eaten.
Or
so
you're
is
not
this how they justified kids disappearing at Christmas time?
probably, I don't
Oh,
know.
jeez.
That's how they justify beating them.
That's how they justified selling them to the witch doctor.
But then allegedly they would store you if you weren't as bad. The point was that you would stay down there for a year, like a prison term type thing, and then you would have be released and have modified behavior, and then you're on the nice list for after that.
Like Pearl.
because you don't want to go back.
Pearl.
Yeah, what's Pearl?
Pearl.
Parole.
Oh, parole.
Pearl.
You are paroled,
Like-
sir.
Pearl.
Like Pearl Baby.
Pearl.
Sorry, I heard pearl. I'm like,
Pearl.
That's what I heard too.
There's a story I don't know about here. Who's Pearl?
Pearl Bailey.
Or a Christmas movie I haven't seen that you're referring to? 'Cause
We're just making this stuff up, folks, as we go.
Pearls in
All from the hip.
snow.
yeah, there is a Christmas song about pearls in the snow. So
It's sad.
Oh.
It's
it's
really
a sad song, but
And Terry loves it.
I'll tell you.
It's
later.
sung by Michael Martin Murphy. Nonetheless, so that's the kind of the gist of a Krampus. I think he also has a forked tail or like a long pointed tail.
This picture it looks like a tail of like a donkey almost.
That would probably fit. So there,
Donkey.
Donkey.
tail of an ass. But I think the origins of the story, nobody really knows the whole origins of where it came from. There's so many different cultures that have the Krampus. or similar things that are just very close to it.
Yeah, coming out of Europe with all the countries and the tribes and stuff like that, everyone's going to have a similar.
But nobody knows where it
something, right?
started. I mean, there's no. It's just been around.
Or everyone
And then-
claims to have the start.
Sure.
who do you believe, right?
Who knows?
But aren't there other like weird, like Christmas creatures in other countries?
Yes, there are.
Why, yes, there
You
are.
caught me with my ectoplasm out. Yes, there are. For example, we had. So I don't know how to speak French, but there's père Foutard, which makes me laugh. Do you want to talk about that one, Terry? Or do you want me to go with that one? He's the father whipper.
What?
That's what it says. That's what
Yeah.
it means.
Father whipper or old man whipper?
Interesting.
Yeah.
Go for it.
Okay. So he is a character who accompanies St. Nicholas on his rounds during St. Nicholas Day, which is December 6th.
He's a lot like Krampus.
Yeah. He dispenses lumps of coal and or beatings to naughty children, while St. Nicholas gives gifts to the well-behaved. He's known mainly in the far north and eastern regions of France and in south of Belgium, and then the French-speaking parts of Switzerland. And, there's characters like this all over Europe. But this whipping father is said to bring a whip with him and to spank all the naughty children who've misbehaved. And the kids believe this, right? So they're good. They're like, I'm going to be good. I'm going to be good. Because they're scared to death that Father Whipper's going to come and just... and I think...
That's real punishment, though. Like,
I think this is just a lot of way to scare children into being good.
Well, just
or give reasons to beat your children.
because they didn't have they didn't have Nintendo then, so they would find ways to get into trouble.
You wake up on like December 7th, and Johnny's got a big old welt across his back and his face. Like, oh,
Where did that come from?
He was a bad kid.
It's like, I'm not telling. It was Father Whipper. If I tell you it was my mom, she'll do it again. Yeah. So the most popular story about the origin of Père Foutard was first told about the year 1252, and an innkeeper, or a butcher in other versions of the story, captures three boys who appear to be wealthy, and they're on their way to enroll in a religious boarding school. Really makes them sound like they're little angels, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're wealthy boys going to a religious boarding school. I don't buy it. But along with his wife, this Père Foutard, this butcher, he kills the children in order to rob them. And one gruesome version tells how they drug the children, slit their throats, and then cut them into pieces and stew them in a barrel. Merry Christmas.
Ew.
And then made them into meat pies, and that is how you got
Sweeney Todd.
Sweeney
Todd.
Todd.
Yeah.
No dreaming
Worst
of
pies
sugar
in London.
plums.
Right?
Um,
That's a bone.
This is the French Sweeney Todd. But St. Nicholas discovers the crime, and then he resurrects the children. And then after this, Père Foutard repents and becomes St. Nicholas's partner. And it's a slightly different version and kind of claims that St. Nicholas forced Père Foutard to become his assistant as a punishment for his crimes.
Huh.
But this is like back in 1252. I mean, how long ago was that?
Oh.
It's like when we were kids, dude.
Yeah. 700 years ago.
Yeah. Now, the most common depiction of Père Foutard, I can't say it right, so I'm just going to butcher it every time. He's a man with a sinister face, dressed in dark robes and a scraggly, unkempt hair, and a long beard. He's armed with a whip, a large stick, or bundles of switches, just like Krampus. Right? Some incarnations of the character have him wearing a wicker backpack, probably full of switches, and the children can be placed in this and carried away,
Just like Krampus.
just like
Yeah.
Krampus.
Yeah.
He's a
Wicker
lot
backpack.
Except
like
he doesn't
Krampus.
look like a goat devil dude.
Yeah.
He's a lot like Krampus.
Yeah.
I think he's probably better looking than
Well,
Krampus.
yeah, he's just like a dark
Probably.
robes,
Yeah.
a sinister faced man.
He sounds like the bowler hat man.
Could be. When I read it, I think of Friar Tuck from the Robin Hood,
No.
like the Kevin Costner one.
Yeah.
With like the big. Well, I don't know. No, I'm thinking like Little John. Never mind. But I'm thinking like a Grizzly Adams type of a character with a big robe, but with a sinister face rather than a friendly face. You're like, who's Grizzly Adams? You guys don't even know. I'm so old. I remember when this story back 1252 was first told.
It's because you told it.
I told it. I made it up. But sometimes he merely carries a large bundle of sticks on his back. The last 100 years, his appearance has changed from a burly, bearded one to one of blackface. And although traditional portrayals will show an old white man in a black robe, communities have seen a rise in grown men donning blackface and claiming that it's just dirt. And in more recent representations, he looks a lot more like Zwart Piet or Black Peter, which we'll talk a little about him, I think, as well. But lately, as you can imagine, groups have protested the racist representation, and they've asked for the abolishment altogether of the character. So cancel it.
I could kind of see that, though.
Well, I think the whole blackface thing's stupid. Let's go back to the big burly guy.
Yeah. Let's go back to the evil Santa Claus.
Yeah, the evil guy, the butcher that
chopped up kids and makes them into meat pies.
Yeah, and now he's got to pay his penance and whip the kids. It's like a parent at Walmart. There's always somebody in there whipping their kid, right?
Not always.
No.
What Walmarts are you going to?
I don't know, but there's a comedian, Rodney Carrington, who talks about he always goes to Walmart and there's always somebody in there whipping their kid. Like there's a bell that goes off, goes ding, whip your kids, and the kids just start crying. Oh, it's the best.
Aww.
But early renderings of the character show him as being nearly identical to Saint Nicholas or Santa Claus, but wearing a black suit, wearing a dark suit. So the dark kind of meaning the scary, the dark, just like we talked about with the darkness.
Yeah.
Good versus evil.
Good versus evil.
Dark side.
The whole yin yang of
The
everything.
dark side.
You have
Don't
the good, you
underestimate
have
the
the
dark
bad.
side of the switch. You don't know the power. All right. What else we got?
Haven't you guys ever watched The Office, where Dwight Schrute dresses up as somebody?
I love Dwight.
Dwight comes into the office dressed up as Bell's Nickel. Have you not seen this?
Not that one.
Not a fan of
Bell's
The
Nickel.
Office.
You're not?
Oh my gosh.
Josh!
I watched the first season of it. I enjoyed it. And after that, I just couldn't do it.
Okay, yeah. So this is out of Germany too, right?
It is, yes.
Yeah. He's a crotchety, fur-clad Christmas gift bringer. No, yes. Figure in the folklore. I don't even know how to say that. Looks like Palatine.
Palatinate?
It's a region of southwestern Germany. Unlike those figures, Bell's Nickel does not accompany Saint Nicholas, but instead visits alone and combines both the threatening and the benign aspects of which in other traditions are divided between Saint Nicholas and the comparison figures.
You don't need no big fat guy.
Yeah, so
I'm going to come whip you on your...
So Bell's Nickel does both. He'll either whip the bad kids with his switch, or he also carries goodies for the good kids. He does both.
Or does he have like garlic flavored Rice Krispie treats?
So
Yeah.
then
You thought you were good, but no.
Did you get both then? Like you get Bell's Nickel comes and gives you some treats, and then Santa Claus later comes and gives you treats?
No, you just have the one. Bell's Nickel does it all. He doesn't have.
That's the thing. There's so many different regions in
Uh-huh.
Europe. So even just like little areas, it's like local legend tells of a man named Bell's Nickel.
And you don't even get Santa Claus.
Yeah, and sometimes he has a mask with a long tongue, but he typically is a very ragged and disheveled.
Disheveled. Yeah.
He wears torn, tattered, and dirty clothes, and he carries a switch in his hand with which to beat the naughty children, but also pockets full of cakes, candies, and nuts for the good children.
So this sounds like the homeless
Nuts.
dude on the corner. Like,
Right? You've
Hey.
seen him.
hey, little kid, would you like my candy?
I got a handful of pistachios.
Yeah, so there's this. I might have to post this. There's this meme with Dwight Schrute dressed up, and it says Bell's Nickel, kind of like Santa, but dirty and worse.
Well, when you know so many Dwight Schrutes,
That-
you know,
I'm sorry, but that's like a scary scary version of Santa. Like I wouldn't want him coming in my house at all. I mean, locking the door and putting a Yule log in.
Kind of like on Futurama. Remember where Santa's not a good thing?
Oh yeah, Santa's evil in Futurama.
Oh yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
They gave his algorithm too much, and he judges every kid as naughty. So he goes to kill
Pulls out machine guns and fires at you. And
rockets and everything.
everything
else.
else.
Speaking of Santa and rockets, have you guys seen Fat Man?
Not
No.
yet.
No,
I
it's-
do want to see it.
Totally fun take on Santa Claus.
Yeah.
Mel
definitely.
Gibson plays
The Fat Man.
the Fat Man, and he's pretty badass, as you can imagine.
Okay, well, let's get out of Germany and go to Iceland.
Iceland. I don't know how they speak in Iceland, but
Icelandic.
I'm sure it doesn't sound like that one.
I don't
No.
know. What's that one with Will Ferrell where he's from Iceland and he
Oh,
goes,
the skating one.
No,
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 not the
no.
ice skating one. He's the singer.
No,
Oh.
is it from Iceland
Yeah,
or were they Sweden?
I thought it was Iceland.
It's Eurovision.
Eurovision.
Okay.
It might be Iceland. No, yeah, you're right. I think it is Iceland. But ABBA, who is from Sweden, won
Eurovision.
when they were just
Interesting.
young. I love me some good ABBA.
I do too. I like ABBA.
I'm old. Josh is like, whatever.
Oh, that was okay.
I
ABBA's
like
okay?
ABBA.
You're a dancing queen, dude.
Yes, I am.
Young and sweet, only 17.
I wish I was only 17.
Times 4.
Anyway, Iceland. Tell us about what's
D.
going on in Iceland, Terry.
In Iceland, they have is it Grilla,
I don't know.
Grilla.
I'm thinking Gryla.
Gryla. She is
A giantess.
a giantess who lives in the mountains of Iceland. She is mentioned as the most horrible sorcerer who scared children into obedience. She is a cannibalistic troll, often described as having horns and hoofs and a large warty nose, and 13 or 15 tails, according to what is that?
Sturlunga Saga.
I cannot pronounce.
I think that's probably like her ex.
This is why I never learned to speak a foreign language.
Right.
Okay.
Well, just like the description is like this is like the text like or like a description that like her ex would give at the bar. She's a cannibalistic troll, horns, hoofs, and a wart on her nose. 13, 15 tails. I don't know. Sorry. It's just brutal.
Yep.
Terrible sorcerer. Sorry, continue.
So yeah, she on each tail she had 100 sacks, and in each of them was stuffed with disobedient children. She was known to have not one but many heads. The troll's evil nature perfectly reflects Gryla's hideous appearance.
100 bags on each tail. She must have been freaking huge.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing, though. Like, if you're a cannibal, right?
Yeah.
It means you eat yourself, your own
own kind.
Yes.
It doesn't
Yeah.
sound like she has a kind.
She's one of
No.
a kind.
Yeah.
She's like one of a
Yeah.
kind.
She's still an important figure in Icelandic Christmas tradition. According to the oldest poems, she originally lived in a small cottage. She was persistent and troublesome beggar who walked around asking parents to give their disobedient children. Her plans were most certainly to thwart by giving her food, or by merely chasing her away. Her favorite dish is stew made of disobedient kids. She cooks them in her large cauldrons to provide food for herself and her family. Legend has it that there is never a shortage of food for her. She has the ability to quickly and easily locate children who misbehave badly year round. She does have a cat.
Interesting.
Yes. It's the Yule cat. It's a man-eating cat, Christmas cat.
Mad Christmas cat.
In fact, this cat was featured in Christmas Chronicles 2 on Netflix, if you've ever seen that movie.
Nope.
They have the Yule cat in
Highly
there.
recommend. Another great Santa.
It's a great
Kurt Russell.
Yep. So, but then she has her little trolls, her Yule lads.
I thought they were her children. Well,
Are they her children or no?
I don't
she
know.
eats the children. Why would she have children?
Maybe she only eats other people's children.
Yeah.
oh yeah, she has her own like team. her own rotten kids. Well, they're rotten too, though. Like, listen, to these guys, right?
Oh my gosh, these guys. Okay, so this is like the bad version of the Seven Dwarfs.
It's her 13 sons. It says according to tradition,
Oh, it's her
Guyla's
13
sons come to town one by one.
It's like almost like the 12 days of Christmas, but each one of these trolls comes out one each day and like creates havoc. But it's their names that kill me.
Do it.
Do it.
Don't worry about the.
Oh, I'm not even. I'm not even
names.
trying to say the Icelandic names.
Stick Juster.
So you have the sheep chain post. He harasses sheep, but is hindered by its wooden leg. Then you have the.
It's like he's like in Wyoming, where the men are men and the sheep are scared.
You have the George, hides in ditches and ravines and runs into the barn and steals the cow's milk when given the chance. You have abnormally short.
These are the translations of their names.
These are the translations of their Icelandic names. Okay, is usually short and steals frying pans to eat up the leftovers. And then you have, okay, I'm just going to put these all at the same time. Spoon licker, pot scraper, bowl licker. Okay. Those three pretty much all, okay, so spoon licker and pot lickers both steal pots and eats the leftovers. Bowl licker, hiding under the bed and steals bowls from people who put the bowls on the floor.
Yeah, I just
Why
thought
are
that
you
was
putting
the,
your bowls of food
I
on the
thought that was
floor?
the dog that did that.
And then you have door slammer, keeps people awake by closing doors at night. You have
Skeer gobbler.
Skyr gobbler, steals and eats up all of the skyr, which is, I guess, Icelandic yogurt. You have sausage swiper. That's like almost reminds me of like Dora swiper, no swiping. It steals sausage when it's smoked. So if it's not smoked, I
Don't
guess your
smoke
sausage
it.
is safe. Don't smoke your sausage. You have window peeper.
Oh, the next one's my favorite.
Peeks at people in searches of things to steal. And the doorway sniffer has an abnormally large nose and is an acute sense of smell to locate leaf bread. You have meat hook, has a hook with which he steals meat. And then you have the candle stealer, follows children in order to steal their candles, which I don't know if they still use a lot of candles in Iceland nowadays or not.
Probably not.
But they're typically pranksters who are busy with stealing or harassing. They also participate in the Icelandic Christmas celebrations and even leave small Christmas gifts for children who behave. The children place shoes on windowsills, but if the children have been disobedient, they instead place a potato in the shoe.
Which I would be so happy with.
Mike would love a potato.
Home fries.
Yeah.
Chop it up, fry it in a little bit of olive oil. Ooh.
Right?
Add some salt, pepper.
Yeah.
Those are the Yule lads. I think they are hilarious, and I would like love to have this tradition in my house.
Well, it just sounds
Put
like
your
this,
shoes up. Oh, potato.
it sounds like they came up with a fictitious person that did it. It wasn't me.
It wasn't me.
It was the bowl liquor.
It was the bowl
Yeah,
licker.
I
It
didn't
wasn't
steal
me.
the
That was the door
leftovers.
sniffer.
It's like, who farted, door sniffer?
I think it's
Maybe there was fart maker.
I don't know.
That was the cousin of these boys, and we just blame everything on him.
Hey, I mean, I grew
Wasn't
up
me.
calling my brothers fart knockers, but I mean,
Yeah, door slammer. It wasn't me, Dad. Quit slamming the door. It wasn't me.
so instead of blaming it on ghosts, they're blaming it on the Yule lads through
Yeah.
Christmas.
Yeah.
Only for 13 days, and then you got to fess up
And then
again.
you're over. But yeah, so that's Iceland.
Especially the window peeper. I
Isn't
saw
the
two eyes
American
peering at me.
the
Wasn't
American
me.
version Peeping Tom?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
Well, we talked about Richard Ramirez, right? It was a peeping Tom.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, just fun stuff. There's, I mentioned Zwart Pete earlier, or, Black Peter. Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's another one.
Don't Google
that.
that.
Yeah, don't Google Black Peter.
Oh, you know
But-
they're gonna Google it.
Yeah, do it, whatever. But yeah, again, it seems like most of these all are people who accompany Santa.
It makes
and-
me feel like our American traditions are very boring compared
Right?
to these other countries.
So vanilla.
so fluffy.
Right.
Because it's like, oh, St. Nicholas comes and he'll give you some coal if you're bad or some presents.
Yeah.
In these cases, like, hey, be good or you're gonna get
You're gonna
eaten.
get eaten. You're gonna get kidnapped. You're gonna get killed.
Yeah. Well, in the old days, like coal would actually be good. It's like, hey,
Oh my gosh, you know how expensive coal is?
Yeah.
Back then, they'd want coal.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Bad. Yes.
I can stay warm all winter.
Stay warm for one night. Yeah, maybe one night.
Because that's what
Maybe an hour.
that's what Cratchit was asking for, was for more coal to heat the fire.
Yep.
Right.
You know, it's just
Yeah. It's just our stories are
Now we
pretty,
have-
pretty tame.
Yeah.
It's because we don't believe that our children are disobedient.
and now we have this stupid elf on the shelf that I hate.
No, we had the belt on the shelf when I was a kid.
know?
Yeah. That kept you in line.
Kept you in
Oh,
line.
have you seen the thing where people joke around like getting like one of those spooky dolls instead of an elf on the shelf and then move the doll around?
Oh,
I like
geez.
that.
I'd do that one.
Next thing you get Annabelle on the shelf.
I am so glad that we were like barely getting out. Like Elf on the Shelf came around where our daughter was just old enough that we couldn't really introduce her to it. Because I would never do
wouldn't
Elf on the
it either.
Shelf. I
But
hate
as a
it.
professional Santa Claus, people are always like, "Yeah, I go to people's houses, right?" And they'll be like, "Yeah, this is our elf, Twinkles," and it's like, "Oh yeah, Twinkles. Twinkles has been telling me some good things," and I have to play along with it. I really just want to like steal the doll.
It added a whole element to your Santa
It
Claus
does.
when it came around.
It does, but it helps.
But here's the thing though, is like all of them have a very similar like modus or like theme, right? It's all be good, get rewarded, right? Be bad, get punished.
But that's a life lesson, is it not?
It's a very good life lesson.
You go around and commit crimes, you have bad consequences.
But when's the last time you heard of anyone ever not getting anything for Christmas, or like getting a lump of coal for Christmas, or a Switch?
The movie Arthur Christmas. Somebody got forgotten.
Yeah.
No,
Like,
you don't. You don't
it
hear
doesn't.
about
You
it.
don't. You don't.
I'm sure it happens. That's
Oh, I'm
why
sure,
there's
but
all the different
but that's
charities.
More,
But
yeah, but that's more of a sad story than anything else.
Not a punishment.
behavior.
Right. It's not a behavior issue.
That's what Fat Man is pretty much the movie is based on, about this kid, this rich, spoiled kid that got nothing for Christmas, so he hires a hitman to go kill Santa. I mean, come on.
he's like a younger version of the guy from Pee-wee's Pee-wee's Big Adventure.
Yeah. So.
Or okay, look at the rotten kid from
Sorry, I hit
from
my
Harry
mic.
Potter, his cousin Dudley.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
No, Dudley's the last name.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Anyway,
Yeah.
I can't remember his name, but yeah, he was a spoiled, rotten little turd.
yeah, Santa Claus doesn't
How
bring
many
you things.
presents?
Yeah,
How many are there?
I only count 13.
Yeah. We'll buy you some more after. It's like,
so then you put a hit on Santa Claus because you were a little shite.
right?
So, but yeah, that's kind of a brief touching of those things.
Yeah.
Oh, there's probably so much more
There's
out there
so
that we
much more
just
out there,
But
and yeah, go ahead.
kind of switch gears just a little bit, right? Because we talked about we kind of touched on a little bit, right? Earlier talking about the Krampus nights and stuff like that, right?
Mhm.
The haunted houses are actually starting to make a comeback around Christmas time, right? But they're still like doing it up.
They're becoming more popular.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Which I think is actually kind of neat.
Yeah.
I'm not I don't like haunted houses. I'm just not a fan. To
How
be
many
honest,
have you actually been to?
over a dozen.
Okay, so you have been to them.
But how
Yeah.
many have you been to dressed as Santa Claus on Krampus night?
None.
None.
I just don't like. I'm just not a huge jump scare person, and so like haunted houses are jump scare things, right? And so like, I'm not going to go to the ones and let them touch me.
Or throw you in a bag?
You don't want to
Yeah.
be locked in a box for the whole time?
No, someone's going to get hurt, and it will be me and somebody else.
Yeah, so what does
So-
the Krampus do? Bag you and like
Yeah.
whip you with switches?
That would be awful.
Right? Be horrifying.
But
Here's my money.
they seem to be popping up everywhere. So there's places in Texas. There's this one that looks really cool in Bayville, New Jersey.
Yeah, that looked awesome.
Yeah.
That video you were showing.
Yeah, so that looks like there's some really cool places out there to experience the Krampus or just the almost a Nightmare Before Christmas style.
Every time I run, I experience the Krampus.
No, this is just cramps.
Oh,
But there's a out in Gettysburg, right? There is an event that they put on Christmas Eve. So,
is it a nativity?
No,
No.
Do they have live camels?
it's actually a paranormal.
Oh, that's cool.
Whoa.
So on Christmas Eve, 1863, the mother of Janie Wade, whose name is Mary, was still coping with the death of her 20-year-old daughter. Jenny was the only civilian to die during the infamous battle, which would be Gettysburg, when a stray bullet passed through 2 doors, striking her in the back before passing through her heart.
Oh.
So what they
Sniper.
yeah, just stray bullet. And so what they said is, you are invited to come join us here in her time of need as she retells the tale once again. Follow her as she makes her way through the house, just as her family did in 1863, to the cellar where Jenny's body was placed as the battle raged on outside. And so they do these tours of the Jenny Wade house, which is in Gettysburg, and they do it on certain nights in December.
Do they actually shoot somebody in the back and then you have to carry him to the cellar?
God, that'd be awful. That would be so awful. But it's only $15, so it's like it's part of Gettysburg tours. So I think ghost hunters went in and investigated the Jenny Wade house.
Was it Ghost Hunters?
Somebody did.
I'm sure they've all been there by now.
Which is one place I'd
I've
love
never
to go.
heard of it. That's
The Jenny
crazy.
Wade house?
Yeah, I'd never heard of it.
Yeah.
I've heard of it, but I didn't know that they did that.
I didn't know they did that either.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming it's haunted by her spirit.
Yeah, but haunted by her ghost. And
Is she pretty pissed off?
I think more sad than anything, right? The only civilian to die in a random, I mean, you're talking about like just a random bullet to hit her.
Yeah. Wasn't she like in there baking bread or baking
Yeah.
cooking or something?
I think she was up in the kitchen doing something, but like,
Yeah.
it's so weird because like those musket balls weren't really accurate, and
Oh, heck no.
like
I don't think they flew that far either.
yeah, exactly. So it's like it's such a random
Somebody's out in the front yard and just like misfire.
Yeah, I don't know.
Weird.
Yeah. So
Not like the bullets of today.
no, which go miles. But so yeah, that's one of the cool things that you can do during the month of December, and actually, paranormal related. So it's really neat.
Let's go.
I don't know if I don't want to go to New Jersey though.
That's Gettysburg, Pennsylvania.
Oh, Pennsylvania.
That was in Gettysburg. The haunted house is in New Jersey.
okay.
Yeah.
And New Jersey's not that bad. I've been there.
Yeah.
I have yet to be to New Jersey. I need to
I've
get
been
that one
there
off my list.
more times than I want to admit, but it's not that bad.
I've never been there either.
But anyway, good stuff.
Yeah. But the thing is like you can look it up, and there's lots of stories just associated to Christmas and ghost stories that are out there. You just kind of have to start kind of looking for them, but they're around.
And there's books about them out there.
I actually Googled
So-
a lot of like looking for Christmas ghost stories, and I found a ton of ghost stories, but not like the origins of why we tell them. That was the harder one to find. But there are tons of them. Just Google Christmas ghost stories, and then just put it on video, and then just listen.
Yeah.
Go sit by your tree,
Yeah,
have your children get in their Christmas pajamas, and tell some ghost stories.
Yeah.
or watch A Christmas Carol with George C. Scott.
Or
No.
any of the versions.
Or-
No,
Yeah.
watch the Muppets one with Michael Caine.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, but it has Miss Piggy in it, and I can't stand her.
And then there's also the one with Mickey Mouse. And
Oh yeah,
Cratchit.
Mickey's Christmas Carol. Yeah.
That one was one of the ones I grew up watching.
Yeah,
I love that
me
one.
too.
But even those ones, it's a story about morals and about being a naughty person, and
Yep.
then changing your ways.
yeah, it's really a story of redemption, right?
Yeah,
It's
if Bill Murray can do it, anybody can do it.
right, exactly.
Right?
If a TV,
Yeah.
if a big TV exec can turn his life around from being such a butthead, then anybody can.
I think that
I
one
love
was
that
was a
movie way
movie
too
about
much.
how many celebrities can we put in here as random characters.
And how can we staple antlers on mice's heads?
So that there is another take on it. I just know from a friend of ours that we know loves the Black Adder Christmas Carol,
Yeah,
which apparently he's
it's Mr. Bean.
yeah, it's played by Rowan Atkinson, Mr. Bean, and apparently he's really good, really nice, and then the ghosts come and point out to him what a schmuck he is and how everybody takes advantage of him. So then he kind of turns into a.
It's a reverse
mean,
Christmas
yeah.
Carol.
Wow.
Oh,
I haven't seen it,
Interesting.
but kudos to Castle for reminding me about it, and
Yep.
I'm gonna have to check it out. So
Huh.
to our good friend Castle, love you, man.
I wonder if that's on BritBox.
Might be. We look at a Black Adder.
Yeah.
I've heard of it.
I know the show
I've never
Blackadder,
wa-
but I've
I've
never
never
seen
watched
it. Christmas,
it.
you know.
Yeah, I'll have to
Yeah.
watch it.
But
Interesting.
yeah. Well, that's all I've got.
I've got lots of ghost stories, but maybe we'll just save them.
Okay. I have some just Christmas facts, just random.
Yeah.
Oh,
Not-
scary Christmas facts.
No.
I love
I wish.
Like-
Christmas facts.
Something scary like how many millions of dollars are spent.
That is scary, but
That is
I don't
scary.
have that.
It's the credit card bill that you
How
get
I
many-
after
already know
Christmas. That's
I have
scary.
overspent this
How
year.
many how many millions of tons of wrapping paper ends up in your landfill every day?
Right.
every Christmas?
Oh, you burn it.
Burn it.
In what? Most people. What if you're in an apartment without a fireplace?
Burning in
See,
your neighbor's house.
people can just do like what we do is you put on like the Yule log on Netflix on
Oh,
your
totally,
TV.
totally,
Just
totally.
throw it
And then,
at the TV?
and then we just throw all the wrapping paper at the TV like we're throwing it in the fire.
And then somebody mysteriously,
Mom.
picks it up.
And then you're like, wait.
It's like the magic table that cleans itself.
Or the magic laundry.
Yeah.
Magic hamper? Yeah, I love that thing.
I know you
Put
do.
my stuff
Yeah.
in it and it shows up back on the bed clean.
It's
And
just
folded.
magical how like his underwear ends up in the drawer clean for him weekly.
I figured
Right?
it was one of the Yule lads' underwear folder.
Hopefully it's not underwear sniffer.
It's their cousin Skidmark.
All right.
Jamie, hit us with some
Yeah.
Christmas facts.
Okay. I just got a handful of them here. So each year, 30 to 35 million real Christmas trees are sold in the United States alone. It says there's about 21,000 Christmas tree growers in the United States. And the trees usually grow for about 15 years before they're even sold.
Oh,
Wow.
wow.
They do take a long time to grow, though.
They do. They do. And we drove by a lot
Absolutely.
on the way here to your house. So I noticed that one of the little
Oh,
lots up there.
Yeah.
On
Yeah,
Main
there's
Street,
a
I'm like,
few.
hey.
In the Middle Ages, Christmas celebrations were very rowdy and compared to today's Mardi Gras parties.
Oh,
Can you
wow.
imagine that? Like Christmas parties being like
I think
So-
every
like that?
celebration should
Okay,
be like
no,
that.
wait. I can't imagine.
Then
Have
you
you ever
got-
seen the movie Christmas, Office Christmas Party?
Oh, yeah, we saw that a
There
few
you
years
go.
ago.
Even though, like, look at Christmas
go
Carol,
watch it
though,
now.
right?
Yeah.
Like when he goes to the Ghost of Christmas Past takes him to the Christmas party.
Fezziwigs.
Yeah,
Yeah, and there's a big party and the
Yeah.
dance and everything happening. You
That-
don't see that nowadays,
No, that looks.
But it
hella
wasn't
cool.
raunchy.
right?
No, it wasn't raunchy, but it was still neat as hell.
But Mardi Gras can be raunchy. So if they compared it
That's right.
to today's Mardi Gras, it's like, you
Drunken
know,
beer fest.
Beer fest with
Yeah.
beads and boobs and
right?
Christmas
and
boob,
police
beads.
and police beating people. And Terry's showing us her boobs. All right, woo! That's
Here's
my
some-
wife.
Here's some chocolate.
Okay,
Good
so
time, girl.
another one was
I didn't show you nothing.
I know you didn't. She didn't. I was joking.
she didn't. Terry's good. Okay, when Christmas was canceled, so from 1659 to 1681, the celebration of Christmas was outlawed in Boston, and lawbreakers would be fined 5 shillings.
No Christmas?
Cancel
No
culture.
Christmas.
Oh, no.
They canceled it in Boston.
I did not know that.
Boston bastards.
Why?
Okay.
Right.
And that's why they revolted and had a tea party. It was because they had canceled Christmas.
Well, what year was that?
Says 1659 to
So these
1681.
are the Puritans, right? So these are people who were very
Yeah.
well uptight
Right.
by today's standards.
They're very religious
Religious
zealots
Yeah.
in a lot of ways.
Yeah,
And so there were a lot of those traditions that they didn't want
right.
their kids getting a hold of.
Okay, so Christmas was actually declared a federal holiday in the United States on June 26th, 1870. Finally declared.
So who was the president in 1870?
Rutherford B. Hayes.
Are you guessing?
I am totally guessing. No, actually, I believe it's.
Oh my gosh, I would love it if you're correct.
It might be.
What year was it?
70?
1870.
Grant?
Yep.
Ulysses Grant?
Grant.
Thank you, Google.
It was Siri.
I just thought Rutherford B. Hayes because that's who Emilio Estevez mentions in Young Guns, but that would have been in like the 80s.
Yeah.
But Grant was just after the Civil War ended, which was like 65-ish, I believe. something
But
like
it's
that.
interesting that it wasn't a federal holiday until 18.
Yeah, 1870.
Yeah,
June 26, 1870.
that's cool.
Yeah. Awesome, right?
So, like, you look at our founding fathers and, like, they didn't do anything.
I'm sure they celebrated, but it wasn't a national holiday.
Okay. The first eggnog that was ever made in the United States was actually consumed in Captain John Smith's 1607 Jamestown settlement.
Oh, that's why Jamestown disappeared.
Yeah.
It's the eggnog.
The massacre.
Okay, let's
just
see.
kidding.
Do you guys like eggnog?
I do.
love eggnog.
The sugar cookie eggnog.
Fireball eggnog.
Have you had fire? It's not non-alcoholic, of course, but it's Fireball eggnog.
Nah.
That's
It's
delicious.
just cinnamon.
Yeah. Sugar
Eggnog with
cookies
cinnamon.
the only thing that I
Sugar
could get.
cookies is the one I like.
Sugar cookies the one we like.
And even then,
I don't
I
think
can
I've
only
had
do
that
it in a
kind.
shot. So, like, when we leave out the milk and cookies, they'll leave out eggnog and cookies.
Yeah.
And, you know, being the Santa of the house, I have to. Yeah.
Drink the egg. Yeah.
And if they give me too big of a glass, I'm gonna
Hurl.
hurl.
Yeah, I know. I get that.
Little shots.
Yeah. I just dilute mine down with a little bit of milk.
We've diluted it with Sprite.
Is it good?
Yeah, it's good.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
That's something
gonna
she
have to
learned in
try
college.
that.
Mm-hmm.
That's an awesome idea.
I thought you just diluted with rum. I mean,
Well, but we're Mormons. Come on.
You don't do rum.
Nope.
The Salvation Army has been sending Santa Claus-clad donation collectors into the streets since 1890s.
Oh, wow.
So they've been at it a while.
And still
Yeah.
nobody
Out there
puts a
ringing
coin
the
in the
bell.
pot.
We try to.
I do.
yeah.
Yeah, we try to. Some
In
dollar
fact,
bills.
I saw the first
or-
bell ringer out
already
yesterday.
Oh well, it is December.
Yeah.
So
I haven't seen a bell ringer in a long time.
They're getting more
Scared.
Well, a lot of
You
stores
don't go shopping.
A lot of stores have gotten to the point where they don't want them out there because people complain.
oh, Scrooges, all of them.
Yes. Well, who carries change anymore, though? That's the problem.
Yeah, that is.
Yeah, they need to walk around with like a square on their cell phone. And swipe
Right.
the card.
Swipe your card here.
Can we Venmo?
Yeah, Venmo.
Can I have Venmo?
Do you have
Salvation
Apple
Army?
Pay?
Yeah.
Rudolph, the most famous reindeer of all, was the product of Robert L. May's imagination in 1939. The copywriter wrote a poem about the reindeer to lure customers into Montgomery Ward department stores.
Wow.
And then shortly thereafter, it was made into a song
Yep.
by
Francis Scott Key.
no, close.
I know Gene Autry
That's
sang.
the one.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
I actually thought Gene Autry wrote it.
Did he? I think you
I
might
thought
be
he
right.
did,
I know he
but-
sings it. Maybe he did write it.
He might have
I
taken
like Gene
the
Autry.
poem and put that to words to music.
Yeah. So it was actually construction workers that started the Rockefeller Center Christmas tree tradition in 1931.
Wow.
That's actually kind of cool.
That is cool.
So I also have one more fun Christmas fact.
Sure. Shoot.
The Santa Claus we know today,
Yep.
the red, the rosy cheeks, the beard, the jacket, all of that stuff was started by Coca-Cola.
Absolutely.
Yep. I've heard that somewhere.
So
Yeah.
they're the ones, because up until that point in time, Santa had a very different look for depending on who you were talking to. And so then Coca-Cola, during one of their ad campaigns, created the Santa
visual
Claus we know
image.
today.
Yeah.
Interesting.
You know, the first descriptions of Santa Claus.
Kind of made it a unified all one because
Yeah.
each, depending on their culture and countries and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, the most famous description of Santa Claus comes from C. Clement Moore's book, The Night
Night
Before Christmas. Yeah, where he talks
And
about
all
the bull.
through the house.
The bull full of jelly.
Yes, but he also said he had 8 tiny reindeer.
No, like,
So, like in that description of Santa Claus, right? I get this image that Santa Claus is only like a foot, like everything's like a foot long and like 6 inches high,
well, they're tiny to you.
right? Like this tiny little thing, like a tiny little fat elf that goes through and drops off presents.
So, yeah, I don't know.
I know. All I can say is that's one good thing about Coke.
Yeah.
Yeah,
About the only good thing.
that in
Not a
their,
fan.
That in their commercials with the polar bears.
Oh yeah.
The polar bears
I
and
do
the
like
puffins.
those.
The polar bears and the puffins.
Yeah,
Yes.
Those
I do
are
like
my
those.
favorite.
Yeah, I love those.
Polar bears.
Do you want to end it with some Christmas jokes?
Well, we should have.
You don't have to.
Oh,
We could do some Christmas jokes. That'd
I
be
don't
fun.
have any Christmas.
Oh.
I don't have any.
he's got dad Christmas
Oh.
jokes.
Oh, that's
Dad
even
jokes.
better.
Fire 'em at us.
All right, I'll give you a few. What do you call a chicken at the North Pole?
Frozen.
Lost.
Lost. That chicken is lost.
Way lost.
What do you
Polar
call
bear
a
food.
polar bear wearing earmuffs? Anything you want to. He can't hear you.
I know all these answers. You
She's
guys.
heard them all
I've
before.
heard them all.
I mean, you've all heard like where do snowmen keep their money in a snow bank. But yeah, what do they call Santa Claus going in a revolving door? Or what is he saying? He's going through a revolving door.
oh,
Ho ho swoosh. Ho ho swoosh. My coworker loved that one today. These are the ones I get people with though. What comes at the end of Christmas Day? The letter Y.
Jeez.
Which candles burn longer, red candles or green candles? Neither. Candles always burn shorter.
Oh, jeez.
what's
What-
the elf one?
What do reindeer have that no other animal on Earth has? Or have? Baby reindeer. Come on, you guys. What do elves learn at school?
That one.
The alphabet.
Nice.
Isn't
Nice.
there one about the tiny elf?
I don't remember
There
that
was
one.
no, I can't remember that joke.
I could pull up my Google Drive. I have them all on
Anyways,
there.
we've got a lot.
When I do like the big parties and
He
stuff,
tells us
I
at
tell
the-
little one-liner jokes.
the
Then make them
parties.
sing, and then yeah.
How does that go over when you tell those jokes?
They're the regular knee slapper, eye roller. You know, people laugh.
So bad it's
your
good.
typical dad jokes.
Yeah.
But
He
you-
even has a scripture in the Bible where it talks about Santa.
Yeah, it's in Isaiah. I can't remember exactly where at the moment.
It's like chapter 2, verse 3 or something
Yeah,
like
but it
that.
says-
And it says like
Ho ho ho, and come forth from the land of the north.
Nice.
Yep. But
so
Oh, my.
completely taken out of content, but
do-
it's hilarious.
I can keep it completely commercial. But what I do like to do, just because me being LDS, Church of Jesus Christ Latter-day Saints, I like to remind people about what Christmas is really about.
Mhm.
And why we really celebrate Christmas. I mean, it's in the name. But, the reason why we give gifts, because the wise man brought gifts to the baby Jesus. The
Yep.
reason why we have, a candy cane looks like a shepherd's hook.
Yeah.
Or if you flip it upside down, it's a J. I've seen that one. Christmas trees are shaped kind of like a... Now, this one is funny because the evergreen was the only tree that didn't die. And so that's why the pagans loved and kind of worshiped the evergreen tree.
Yeah.
And we still do that now with the Christmas trees, but I always remind people it's like it points like an arrow to heaven, right? And then what do we put on top of a Christmas tree?
Star.
A star, which reminds us of the Star of Bethlehem, or
Angel.
an angel, which,
Mm-hmm.
getting a tree shoved up your angel butt. There's a poem about that one.
Bristles
jeez.
and all. Yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, wherever you are, whatever you're doing this time of year, whatever holiday you celebrate, whether it's Festivus, you have feats of strength and whatever, whatever you're celebrating.
the airing of grievances.
Errands of grievances. There we go. That's what I was thinking of. That's from Seinfeld, if you haven't seen it. But wherever you are, I do hope that you do it with your family, that you are nice to each other, that you spread goodwill, and that you... what? Was it the do it with your family? My wife's a pervert. You're so naughty.
You celebrate
You're
with your
s-
family.
You're so getting switched. You're so getting beaten with a switch. Not by me. I'm afraid of her. But whatever you are, we want to wish you guys a Merry Christmas, Happy Kwanzaa, Happy whatever you celebrate. We appreciate
Happy Merry
you.
Holidays.
Merry
Happy
holidays. And come back and see us again next year.
Absolutely. And stay ghosty, my peeps. Thank you for listening to the Paranormal Peeps podcast. You can find us on social media at Twitter at CPR Paranormal, on Facebook at Paranormal Peeps Podcast and Cold Spot Paranormal Research. And you can find us on Instagram at coldspot_paranormal_ research.